Now, the next thing was this. I don't want to give a lot of instances, but these three things I just want to say. Was during when I was going through my presidential primaries. My wife called me from London. Said, look, she has been diagnosed with cancer. I said, what do you mean, the cancer? I dropped my phone. I called my G5 members who are supporting me. And I called the governor. Look, there's a problem. I don't think I will continue with this race. So I called my wife back. She said, no, continue, nothing will happen. I told her, okay. We started. On the day after that primaries, or in the night of that primaries, I went with my wife to Abuja. From nowhere, she was told that fire has gotten her room. From where? They had to call the fire service. Everything a woman should own was burnt. Up to today, we have not repaired that room. Everything was burnt. And nobody knew. I just kept quiet. That's why I say some people, you don't even ask me what I'm passing through. You only want me to give you. You don't know inside me, I'm already dying. You know? So I was just careful. And you know, when they say that you're diagnosed with cancer, you know what it takes? You know what it takes? Those who have experience will tell you. You see? So when people, like I always say, when people text me, my mother's in the hospital, my father's in the hospital, I said, should I text back? Now look, oh, my wife is also not well. I just get quiet. That is one incident that I said, God, you have saved me in everything, but this one. That is one incident that I said, God, you have saved me in everything, but this one, you've done it all. This is for my wife's life, and how will I have done at this age? Me, I'm not a very careful person taking care of children now. And if anything has happened, you can imagine the effect it will have on my children. I thank God that today my wife is alive. Not just alive, very much alive. I thank God Almighty. Then, the last one, as we finished our primaries, my wife went to Lagos to bring my daughter. We landed at the Air Force Base. I was waiting. I said, okay, let me go to the Air Force Base. So when they land, I just enter the plane and go to Lagos. 15 minutes of takeoff. I went with Olaka Wogu and Marcus Ndage. 3 of us. And somebody was waiting for me in Lagos. I must see that night. 15 minutes of takeoff. What do we have? Boom! The air hostess was running. I said, what is the problem? They said, there's problem. I said, what is the problem? I had to rush to the cockpit. The door locked. Nobody to communicate. What is going on? She now ran back and came back to us. One engine is gone. And the pilot said, look, it's safer for us to turn back because it's still far going to Lagos. So cannot come back to Port Harcourt. So 3 of us were looking at each other. And the last thing Alaka said that day, I've not told my wife anything. So we're just looking at ourselves. So I said, well, there's nothing anybody can do now. So, by the grace of God, before we landed, we saw so many ambulances, fire service trucks lined up. I didn't know that the pilot has communicated to them to say, look, there's a serious problem. But to the glory of God, we landed safely. So, like I said, I never even told my parents. I never even told so many people. They don't see me as a strong man, normal man. You know, part of leadership is for you not to frighten your supporters. Because if your supporters know that things are wrong, then they begin to behave anyhow. So I have to keep it to myself. Then the transition, you know, one must thank God that I succeeded, or we succeeded in having a smooth transition. None of you, most people don't know what happened and why I must continue to appreciate and thank God. Ask my colleagues how they feel that their choice or their party candidates didn't make it as their successors. How they feel. When I read on pages of newspapers, even those who have not been sworn in, just governor-elect, they started tormenting their outgoing predecessor. They have not been sworn in. They are just answering governor-elect. You can imagine that and see where I am. Nobody is tormenting me. Not that even if you are tormented, you cannot defend yourself. But that's not the point. The point is that having that calm mind, having that after these 8 years, that you will still have another problem, is something that you must thank God. But my own was very clear. The gang up from up to down. In our state here, we all agreed, I paid for every form. I paid. Nobody will say as he paid for any form to run for governorship. Nobody will say so. Nobody will say that he paid 1 naira to buy for House of Reps form. Nobody will say he paid 1 naira to buy assembly form. Nobody will say he paid 1 naira to buy Senate form. They're all here. They're all here. They don't say so. I paid. But in our team, we agreed that, look, we know that in this election we are going in, we are going to face federal government. That is Senate presidents, their party. So it is better we work as a team and not to divide ourselves. They all agreed. That's why you see in the House of Assembly, only 1 form. In the Senate, only 1 form. Each of the senatorial districts is one form. So nobody will say that you spend money to run for primaries. No. We said, look, we'll do so that we won't have anything called pre-election cases and the rest. And everybody agreed. The governorship forms, which I paid for, the elders met. O.C. Yokoja, SN, he was one who drafted the agreement. I think O.C. is here. I saw him here. I think O.C. is here. He drafted the agreement where everybody signed that the moment the elders choose one person that they are going to support, all of them signed